One of the issues we have with crocheting ruffle yarns in rows is that the ruffling is always on one side of the work. This is fine if you're making your typical scarf, not so fine if you're making a hat or a handbag or something else that you actually need a front and a back of work where you have a flat surface against the skin or against the lining. I'm going to show you how to achieve that with a technique we're calling ball front, ball back. Now, the key here is that the ball of yarn is going to be fed from the side of the work that has the ruffles on. And yes, I said the side, which means on alternate rows it's going to be in back of the work or in front of the work. So right now I'm working on the odd row, which is the standard row, which is like we normally crochet and feeding from the back. I've got 2 stitches left in this row, so I can show you how to actually turn the yarn and move the ball forward. So I'm going to finish this stitch, and again the ball is coming from behind my work here, and of course my last stitch of the row, which is marked so I can actually tell it's the end of the row. It's a little harder to see the end in a ruffle yarn than in a traditional yarn. And this is just a little bit messier than I expected, but at any rate. Okay, so this is the end of my row. I'm going to move up my stitch marker. And make a chain 2 turn. I'm doing double crochet here if you've noticed, and that's a personal preference that I like the length of the stitch and the amount of ruffling it gives me, and it doesn't feel as stringy as a longer stitch. So now, making sure that my yarn stays flat, that there are no twists, I'm going to essentially fold it over while I switch my work over. And I like to work with it flat when I'm doing the ball forward because it's easier for me to control where my work is going. I'm detangling my crochet hook here for the moment. So now I'm going to pull this forward so you can see. I've got my yarn feeding straight forward in front of my work here. I'm going to tilt this down a bit here. And now we actually get to start with the new technique. And it starts like a regular double crochet or treble, half double with the yarn over. But it's only going halfway over because I'm not bringing it all the way back to bring the yarn behind my work. So it's kind of halfway over, and it needs to be controlled at that halfway over point. And going to bring this through the previous work. Now, one of the things is because this first yarn is halfway over only, and because it appears to be coming kind of backwards over the hook, we actually are going to need to control this part of the yarn as well. So I'm using the thumb and forefinger of my right hand to control my yarn over, keep it separate from my previous row's work, and the thumb and forefinger of my left hand to control the working edge of the yarn and to some degree the previous row's work. So now I'm holding that in place, and I'm bringing this forward right now and bringing through my previous row's work. And now once that's done, I can complete my stitch as usual. Come on. Once again, my yarn over, and I just have to peek the other side to see my work. Control the stitch, bring it through, complete the stitch as usual. Once again, the key to doing this is really in being able to control the, I have it through the right spot, yes I do, is being able to control this yarn over here and the previous stitch, and just making sure that the loops don't get confounded with each other. And that's basically all there is to the ball front, ball back. So this is the ball front row, and at the end of it I'm going to once again make sure that my thread is not, what happened here? Something is caught. I'm caught up in another part of the previous row. Okay. Just make sure that you're not twisted when you turn your row, and move your move the ball towards the back, because the ruffles will be on the back of where you are working. And then you just keep alternating like that, and then what you get here in the end is a nice piece of work that you have ruffles on one side and a plain part on the other side, and you can use it again for all sorts of design elements, hats, handbags, vests, whatever. And that's your ball front, ball back technique.